Alright, so today we're going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to do a beat in the MPC One and not much focus on details on how I'm doing certain things, but more on why I do certain things and my workflow, just my mindset while I'm building a sampled bass boom bap style beat on the MPC One. So I want to go ahead and summarize my whole process, and so hopefully you guys find some value within this video. But before I jump into it, I got a question for you guys. The question of the video is, what artists do you guys listen to that's been inspiring you to just go into the studio and make music? I know for me it's different every month. You know, sometimes it could be Madlib or Jay Dilla, Pete Rock. This month, actually, I have this artist, I don't even know how to say his or her name, but it has full of inspiration for me, makes me want to come home and make some music. The drums on this album are amazing. So let us know what artist has been inspiring you guys to make music. All right, so with that out the way, I'm gonna jump right into it. Right here, we are on the MPC One, and as you guys can see, I have a blank session. I have a session with just 2 bars, and I always start my sessions at 90 beats per minute. I'm obviously gonna probably go lower than 90 or higher, I'm not sure. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and sample into the MPC One. I actually have this song that I was listening to in the car that just inspired me. Hopefully this one comes out good as I'm recording with you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and check the levels, making sure that everything is good with my levels. All right, so once I have my levels set correctly, on this one, I'm not gonna go to slice, I'm gonna just sample. All right, I'm gonna grab that section. I feel really comfortable with that. I'm gonna go ahead and name this, I'm just gonna name it Chops. And right here, I'm gonna truncate this beginning, I think it was like a bar. I don't need that, I just want it on the downbeat. Go ahead. Just about right there, go to process, discard, do it. Right now, I don't have no drums. I don't, you know, I wanted to start with the sample because the sample is gonna be the main thing. I know the sample is a very powerful sample when it comes down to frequencies. So I wanna make sure I work with the sample first in this track. And then once I have an idea, then I'm gonna add drums based off of the sample. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up. I'm gonna go from trim to chop, and I'm gonna go to manually, and let's go ahead and chop this into quarter notes. All right, so we got some right there. Woo. Yeah. Woo. All right, cool. So I'm already kind of getting an idea of the direction that I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go ahead and hit shift, convert, hit do it. All right, so once we have that, again, I have a 2-bar sequence. It's only 2 bars. Right now, I'm not trying to think complexity. I'm not trying to think about 4 bars, an intro or that. Like, I don't care about that right now. Right now, I'm just thinking about what strikes me, what inspires me, just that small little 1 or 2 bar loop that caught my attention when I first listened to the song. Right now, I'm going based off of instinct. I'm not going based off of structure. And I think that's very important. The first few seconds, well, obviously it's been already a few minutes, but the initial hit that you get from a sample, you want to go ahead and capture that and chop that and lay that down on the MPC before you start playing this sample back over and over and you lose that instinct that you once had, which you'll never get back. So make sure you get that small section that struck you when you first heard that record. I feel like I, you know, as you guys can see, I filled up bank A and bank B. Bank A's got some, what is it, major notes. Oh, where am I? I actually had to go to the program. Some major notes. That's some, you know, some dark stuff. And then it goes to minors. Oh. Oh, okay. All right, so right here, this is where I want to play with. I'm actually filling this section. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go to pad colors, and I'm going to color this whole thing purple, just this program that I'm building. So now I know that this bar right here is what I'm feeling the most. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. That hits me. That makes me want to go further. So this small section, this measure right here, is what I'm going to base this off of. Of course, I'm not just going to loop that because that does sound really good, but after a few loops, it's going to get very tiring. What I'm going to go ahead and do before I go any further, I'm going to go to Program Edit, and I usually like to go up a few semitones or go down a few semitones. In this case, let's see how it sounds 2 semitones down. Yeah. Oh yes, definitely. All right, so I went 2 semitones down. What I want to do right now is I'm going to record that. I want to capture that initial instinct that I got. So I want to make sure we have that down in this sequence. Okay, my bad. The tempo's not matching. I'm actually glad this happened right now. There's so many ways you guys can go about matching the tempo. I've made videos, so I'll leave links up here. What I'm gonna do, my favorite way in this case, I'm gonna just tap tempo. It's at about 80 beats per minute. I'm gonna go ahead and make this 80. Hit do it, and let's lay that down. Yeah, that's it right there. Boom. That sounds amazing. Now, as you guys saw right here, I have Bank A and Bank B. I can fly through and grab little sections or other pads from Bank A and just kind of fly through these different banks. So I can go... You know, I can go ahead and go between these two, but I don't feel like I have enough to play with. I have Bank C, Bank D available, and I also have Bank E, F, G, H available. So I'm gonna go ahead, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go back to the record. Don't just get stuck on the first few measures of a sample or of a record. Go back, how we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna go back to my sampler. Now this pad function right here, pad tap and pad hold, allows me to add snippets of this record into my already put together program, which is awesome. Like, I love that you can do that. It's crazy. I love that. So I'm gonna go to pad tap, and I'm gonna go to Bank C and Bank D. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play on this record and see what else we can find. All right, see, that's what I'm talking about. So as you guys can see, now I have Bank A filled up with some samples, Bank B, which is what I like, and then Bank C. I don't know if you guys have worked with other samplers before, but just being able to add to my already made program allows me to have the flexibility of building something. And then if I want to add to it, it's so easy to add, and I don't have to create a separate program. I'm sorry, I'm probably focusing on that too much, but that's awesome. I love that I can do that. What I'm gonna do is, before I go any further with the sample, I'm gonna jump over to the drums. I'm gonna lay down some drums. It's just some basic drums, and the reason why I'm going over to the drums is because I have kind of like the main idea of what I wanna do with this beat. Now, I wanna lay down some drums. Once I have drums laid out, I'll go back to this sample and I'm gonna start building like the intro, the verse, and some variation within this beat. So let's go ahead and surf for some drums. I'm gonna go right here and go to my samples. There's so many kicks. I don't know I don't like to solo the kick and select, like I don't know if it's gonna sound good. I'm gonna hit play on this loop that I have, and I'm gonna just cue a few of these samples or drum shots and see which ones fit with the sample, because every sample is gonna sound different, different frequencies. It's just not all gonna be the same. So this kick might sound nasty by itself, but with that sample on top of it, it might sound good. I will not know unless I hit play and I cue these shots up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so that sounds good. All right, so I went ahead and built my drum program. It takes a very long time. It's not something that you do very quick, but once you have everything that you think these hi-hats, the snares, the kicks might work together, now I'm gonna go ahead and start building. Again, we're still in a 2-bar loop. I'm not gonna make it too complex right now. I'm gonna keep it within 2 bars and build the boom bap style of rhythm. So I'm gonna go to my grid editor and I'm gonna go ahead and play with this and see what we come up with. All right, so right there, we have a 2-bar drum loop, something that I can work with, and I'm gonna go back to my chops, and I can build from there since I now have an idea of how the drums sound and how the sample sounds together. Now, what I'll do from 2 bars, I'll go ahead and hit this little pencil icon, and I'm gonna hit double length. So now it's gonna be 4 bars. Now 4 bars is, a pretty good length that I can play with. What I'm gonna do is, right here on my chops, I'm gonna delete what I have. The reason why I'm deleting it is because now that I have my other banks, C and D filled up, I now know that I can play with a lot more than just that loop. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and lay down an intro for this. And I kind of have an idea of the intro. On bank D, I have the choir section. Maybe we can start with the choir section as the intro, and then we'll drop into the drums. All right, so let's go ahead and copy that sequence. I'm gonna go to sequence 2, name that verse, hit do it. Now we're on sequence 2. Let's go back to our drums. Let's unmute the drums because I want the drums to kick in right here. And now this will be our drop. So our drop is actually, I don't know, I can actually have fun. So what I'll do is, let's perform this. Let's see how it's gonna sound. All right, so now I have 4 bars. Now that I have this and it sounds interesting to me, I like how this sounds. As you guys see, is like 1 bar right here, and then on the second bar, I do these other pads which I dig in through other banks, add those, and then we go back to this bank B and continue, and then we go back to another bank, and we go back. So I don't know if this is making sense, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my drums, and as we do those little cuts right here, I can probably drop out the drums or do something different with the drums in those little sections to add some type of emphasis on that break. So let's go ahead and probably loop this small section here. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm now playing with this. I'm going based off of the flow. Again, is instinct within me right now that some of these cuts, some of these breaks might sound ridiculous, or they might not even fit with how it should come out, but I want to make sure my messy brain or the artist within me comes out right now, and I'm recording this into this pen and pad. This is like my scratch paper. Maybe some of these cuts are like ridiculous. You guys are probably like, man, what the hell is this guy doing? But it's better to lay down your craziness, and then later on, if you're not really feeling it, you can always take it away. All right, so I really like how this is coming along. It sounds good, it feels good to me. I'm enjoying what I'm getting out of this. One thing what I'll do at this point, when I have my drums and my sample sequence, there's this setting on the MPC. This is on all the newer MPCs. This is awesome. Like, I've never owned a vintage MPC like the 60 or the SP1200, nor do I know how those machines sound. But if you guys go to your preferences on your MPC, go to general, and on general, there's vintage mode. MPC 60, like, I mean, these all sound pretty good. SP1200 ring, it could be a hit or miss for some people. But MPC 60, it adds some awesome punch to my entire session. I love what it does. Again, I'm not here to say it sounds like a 60 or it doesn't sound like a 60. I don't care if it sounds like an MPC 60. It just sounds good. I'm gonna leave that engaged, and it's gonna smack a lot harder versus, well, I'm not gonna say a lot harder because it is not a night and day difference, but it does add a bit more punch to my entire session. So that's something that I engage at this point. Now, one last thing I'm gonna skim through. I'm actually gonna make a video on this specific section, but I'm actually gonna show you guys, because I was really excited to do this. I enjoy using the RC20. I don't know if you guys heard of the RC20, but it's an awesome plugin that you can use in your DAW, which replicates vinyl and gives you, I don't know, there's just so many like lo-fi presets that sound awesome. So what I did is I actually built a signal chain, and I replicated the sound of a lo-fi, I think it was the Vinyl 3 on the RC20 setting. It sounds very identical. There's probably minor differences, but it sounds really good. It does give my track like a vinyl sound to it. So right now, I'm gonna add that to this sample track. I'll go to my inserts. I actually have it saved already on my SD card. I go to MPC Plugin. I have Vinyl 3 RC. I'm gonna go ahead and engage that, hit load. and it's filling up my 4 instances of plugins, which I want to be able to do this with just 3 because I want to have a free plugin slot for, let's say, Mother Ducker. Right now I'm filling them all up. I'm still working on this chain, but I'm gonna let you guys hear what it does. This is with no, this is without the signal chain. All right, so you guys heard the difference, but this is with it dry. So it just adds like a lo-fi sound to it, and it's very similar to the Vinyl 3 on the RC20. Now, if you guys want to even go a step further to make it sound more like of a vinyl, go to Program Edit, and you go to LFOs, go to the sync. I'll probably go up to dotted 16th notes, go to my pitch. It's gonna sound stupid right now, but let's just hear this. Actually, my bad. Make sure all is selected. And now we're on the dotted notes, go to the pitch, and let's hear this. All right, right here. And now I'm obviously not gonna go that drastic. I'll probably go to like a 3% pitch. So at the end of the day, I'm not even trying to make it sound exactly the same, which it obviously is not gonna sound exactly the same, but it's actually very identical to the Vinyl 3 setting. But it definitely adds a lo-fi sound to my signal, to my track. Again, we'll hear without any of these instances. I hope you guys are finding value out of this video, and if you guys are, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already. Again, guys, thank you so much if you've made it to this part of the video. I highly appreciate you guys taking your time out of your day to watch some of my videos. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a blessed day. I'll catch you guys on our next video. Peace.